Hello guys, today we're going to be doing a video on GHOSTWIRE Tokyo using the RTX 3080. We're running a Ryzen 5900X with 64GB of RAM running at 3200 MHz. Let's jump into the settings. Oh, I forgot to mention, thank you guys for 400 subs. We hit it this morning, I think. It's insane that I even have 400 subscribers. So thank you guys for your support. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. It's free. Let's continue with the benchmark, but it doesn't. So yeah, no ray tracing yet. And everything. Alright, off the bat at 1080p high. The game's not looking too sharp. There's obviously some film grain on the screen, but the reflections look super good since we do have screen space reflections on. And frame rate is sitting around from 150 to 180 and an average of 170. So no trouble at all running the game. This is obviously a story-driven game, so you don't really need to have 170 FPS. You can play this game at 60 and you'll still have a really good time. Okay, getting to a fight. I'm getting 150 FPS, so I don't know if that's just this area of the map is more taxing or all the particles from the abilities. Nah, it doesn't seem to be their abilities. I think that looking that way just causes a frame drop. Whoa. Yeah, I think what I'll end up doing is I will do all the ray tracing stuff at the end since the game needs to be restarted. Okay, chill. Yeah, so I think I'll do all the ray tracing stuff towards the end of the video since you gotta restart the game for it to take effect anyway. But jumping from 1080p to 1440p, we took a massive hit. We're sitting at 120 FPS, 130 FPS. The game looks much sharper though. Looks very crisp. The rain effect looks so nice. Has really nice atmosphere. Can't even imagine with ray tracing how good this area would look. But I'm kind of worried that we're only sitting at 120 FPS at 1440p high. It's not even max settings yet. With ray tracing, we might fall below 60. We might have to turn DLSS on. I just want to say that this is just in the starting area of the game. Since the game has only been out for, I guess it just came out now. I'm not really sure what is the most taxing area, or what. But this will just show you a basic understanding of how the game will perform and run on the RTX 3080. But yeah, 4K high. The mouse movement feels very laggy. Doesn't feel as fluid as it did at 120. Feels like you're playing on a controller. It feels like there's mouse acceleration pretty much at 60 FPS. But this is still playable, I guess. But since we are only hitting 60, we're capping at 60, it kind of worries me that once a more taxing area comes up, you will fall below 60 and then it will become unplayable. So I will be testing out DLSS at 4K high. Now, the game quality looks really good. I can't tell the difference. At 4K, DLSS just crushes it, and we're getting 100 FPS now. We'll quickly go over each DLSS preset, see if we can tell the difference between each one. We saw the quality preset already. Look, I'll turn it off again, and then we can go through each of them. So this is how it looks like at native. So this is the quality preset for DLSS at 4K. Looks basically the same. Again, identical to quality. At 4K, I think we can push it up all the way up to performance, and it will still look good. 1080p, you don't need to have DLSS. 1440p, you don't need to have DLSS unless you're using ray tracing, I'm guessing. And did the rain tank our FPS a little bit? Because I don't think it did. I think we're still sitting at 110 FPS. Performance, I can tell a little bit that we're not running at native. This doesn't look as sharp as it did before. Moving the camera a little bit. Performance, the rain looks really bad. That rain effect looks awful at ultra performance. It looks very blurry. I'm glad it's raining so we can actually see that. Yeah, look how blurry that looks. It looks far worse. But we are getting 150 FPS. I would just stick to the quality preset or balance. Those two are perfect. Ray tracing, the medium settings. Once we do that, the max setting preset, that's when I'll turn up ray tracing to max settings as well. But right now, I think we're at 1440p. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down. 1080p. We took a pretty big FPS hit. We're sitting at 180 FPS, 170 FPS at 1080p native. 1080p screen space. And now we're sitting at just over 100. And the reflections, I don't know. I can't really complain about screen space reflections. They look great. I think they look just as good as ray tracing to me. But obviously ray tracing has its benefits, but it's very taxing. Okay, 1440p ray trace. Whoa! Okay, 1440p, you can definitely tell a difference. That looks insane. Wow. Oh my god, that looks way better than screen space at 1440p. Because you can actually just like, if you look down, you can tell it very clear reflections on the floor. But we're sitting at 70 FPS, so we lost around 50 FPS from 1440p high with screen space versus ray tracing. But this looks insane at 1440p. 30 FPS. Seriously? 30 FPS with a 3080. I guess they did say that the recommended ray tracing preset was 3080, but I thought I was like 60 FPS at least. But I guess I should have seen that coming at 1440p when we were only getting 70 FPS. So this game at 30 FPS with a keyboard and mouse, unplayable. The mouse movement feels... The mouse movement is tied to the frame rate, so the higher the frame rate you get, the smoother the mouse will feel. And this feels pretty awful at 30 FPS. I would not want to play like this. Oh. What happened? We're getting 3 FPS. Okay, 60 FPS. There you go. Why does it look so bad with rain though? 50 FPS. Yeah, so even at quality preset DLSS, you're not gonna be able to have a 60 FPS consistent frame rate. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring that down to balanced. So balance should be the sweet spot for this. Gives us a little bit of headroom. Okay, I just want to come in and add something. I did all the tests at the max preset, but the frame rate didn't change. It lost maybe at most 10 FPS, 5 to 10 FPS, so there was not much of a difference with playing at high versus max settings, but I will include all the ray tracing tests at max settings. Okay, ray tracing at max settings, here we go. This will be interesting. Gonna bump everything up. Oh. Wondering if it's gonna be playable at 1080p. Okay, it's 80 FPS. I mean, wasn't this what we got before? 1080p high? Was that popping I just saw? Wow, that's really bad popping. What is going on? Was that there before? I don't remember seeing that pop in there. Wow, maybe I'm guessing this will be this preset here, this a level streaming distance. This will cause it to not have. Yeah, there you go. So that's just your running distance. This we got 60 FPS, 70 FPS, I think, right? Wow, there we go. Finally see a difference. 50 FPS at 1440p ray traced max settings. This looks insane though. Oh my. 1440p is the sweet spot. For all these games, it looks so good at 1440p compared to 1080p. And obviously 4K looks better, but the amount of power that you need to push 4K versus 1440p is way higher. So, wow, that looks crazy good. But 55 FPS, so you want to have DLSS enabled for this. So let's see what DLSS can give us at quality presets. You can obviously play at quality or balance. They both look really good. Quality looks the same as native. Insanely good. Frame rate, we're getting 80 FPS now, so we gained the 30 FPS boost from DLSS. At quality preset, yeah, 20 FPS. It's so laggy, basically unplayable, and I can't even enjoy the reflections because it's lagging so much. Alright, let's go ahead and bring our DLSS up to balance. Game is freezing. Using the menus are very... Can't hit 60. Nope. Cannot hit 60 even at balanced DLSS. And like we saw before, when you push it to performance, it won't look like 4K anymore. To me anyway. Alright, I think I'll end the video here, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a like and a subscription. We highly appreciate it. See you next time.